Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Mothers, oh, the cauldron cries, sing it unto me. Songs of Mother Goddess and the Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Gotta tell you, I don't know that I've started a show without forgetting to turn on my microphone. Seems like all of them. I hope everyone is doing well on this lovely Saturday evening. It's a little chilly here in the Pacific Northwest because we're still having 4 seasons in one day. Apparently, summer, spring, winter, and fall, with a side helping of winter and winter and winter. It snowed for a bit and the sun was beautiful and then snowed some more. It's great. I am ready for green grass and spring. I hope it comes soon because I want a garden, doggone it. So we are being broadcast live tonight on Truth Frequency Radio, of course, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. And if you are in YouTube world, make sure you do hit that like button and subscribe. And no matter how you are hearing me, make sure you do stop in and say hello. And if you don't say hello, go ahead and send me an email that says wildpaisley@gmail.com. And that's WILDEPAISLEY @gmail.com. So, yes. If you want to support the show, please do so. You can do that at Etsy, and that's Monarch Mountain Studio. Monarch is MONARCHMTN for mountain and studio. So it's etsy.com/shop/Monarch Mountain Studio. Or you can find me on Patreon, and that's patreon.com/the spaces between. And the call lines are open, and that number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it is 44203-393-2871. And as I look at the call board, let me make sure I've got that actually turned on. Let's try that again. Here, this one.
You didn't connect the phone lines?
Oh, I did, but apparently I didn't. And so apparently there is no call line tonight. I lied. I'm not going to try to troubleshoot that in the middle of any free thing. I'm not that talented. I've hard enough time talking.
That leaves me to keep you company.
Hey, well, yeah. They could always call you, I guess.
Okay. No, they can't. My call line's not open either.
So I see we've got Gemini and Duke and Bomber. Hi, guys. And we also have just a whole bunch of people chatting away. We've got Julia, Blacktree, Ethan, Gemini, I am Pam, Nessie Monster, Suzanne, Titan, and Aether Archives, Mr. Don. Hello, hello. Yes, the call line I thought was open, but apparently I misfired. So, anyways, how are you, Mr. Don? Are you feeling better this evening?
My wine glass is almost empty already.
That really looks more like a juice cup.
Well, actually, it's a teacup. It's a iced teacup. 16 ounces.
Oh.
And it's almost empty already, and I just poured it like 3.5 minutes ago.
Does your cup have a hole in it?
Yes, it's a large one on top. I don't know how they managed to get away with that scam.
Yeah, well, it's only a little hole, right?
Yeah, it's a little hole that opens into this black hole called a pie hole. Stop whining. Stop whining about the wine. Yeah, Nessie, whatever.
So, whiskey out of teacups. You are absolutely right there, Bomber. So, tonight...
Oh, Bomber finally showed up, huh?
Yeah, Bomber's in TFR.
She's in the wrong spot.
She said she'll come over in a little bit.
Whatever.
She's got stuff going on. Apparently drinking whiskey out of teacups.
She's drinking whiskey. Okay. Congratulations. What's the show about tonight?
Ethics.
Ethics.
It's a nice, dry, boring topic, but there's a reason for it. So last night we talked about puppets, or I talked about puppets. Y'all listened.
Hello, me puppets.
Hello, puppet. But there's a sympathetic magic. Basically, your like draws to like. So if the puppet in theory is a construct that you make, and I had one, but Minnie Paisley stole it. She put hair on it and shoes. And anyways, and it was a demonstration run anyways. You make this thing and it stands in for something else, and so whatever you do to this thing, it in theory will affect the other person or pet, animal, spirit, whatever. So you can use it as binding, as healing, cursing, blessing, protection, any of those things, and not just the standard, oh my gosh, it's Satan worship. So because that's the assumption that all puppets are voodoo dolls, and they're not. They're two entirely different things. So I figured tonight we'd talk about ethics because, well, if you're going to do sympathetic magic like that, often you need to bind or what was the word I used last night? Do you remember? You were listening. You were here for a bit last night, right, Don?
Used to bind or... I heard the whole thing. I just can't remember any of it. See, I can talk to you all the time, so it's not really that big of a deal for me to remember a specific thing.
I'm not sure if that makes me feel better or not.
Well, that's okay. Don't worry. Anyhow.
So it was tag lock. That's what the word was.
Oh, right.
Yeah, when you do a tag lock, often you're taking the essence by like fingernail clippings or spit or hair or clothing or blood or any of those things to infuse the puppet with the spirit of the person. So or pet or animal or whatever. So you really shouldn't just do this kind of thing willy-nilly. It should be with some care and thought put into it. Again, focus your intention. Do your meditation. Is this really something you need to do? Is this really what you want? And are you willing to deal with the consequences? So, you really need, if you're going to bind a puppet or tag lock a puppet to a person, unless it's a curse, of course, or something like that, you should probably get their permission. You really should not do this kind of thing without talking to the recipient at least once about it and making sure it's something that they are interested in doing. And
Is that
having
like asking somebody if you can pray for them?
It's very similar. Yeah, you snort and chuckle, but no, seriously, because some people, no matter how good your intentions are and how much you want to help them, you still need to make sure they want the help, because there's a lot of people out there who like to bitch and whine and moan about different things, mostly because they want to bitch and whine and moan about things. They don't necessarily want help. If you doubt me, go on Facebook. There's a lot of them out there.
God.
Oh my gosh.
They want to piss and whine about how bad things are, but they don't want to step up and take responsibility for it.
Exactly. They don't want to do anything about fixing it. They just want to whine about it. So
Thank you, Gemini.
It just, and I'm just speaking very generally, because I know some folks personally that need some help that or have asked for help, and that's not the same. And I know you, and you know me, and don't sweat it. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about those other people out there that just like to bitch for the sake of bitching. And I don't know why. I've never understood that, because if you wallow in that misery,
Victim mentality.
yeah, the victim mentality. I don't. Are you really on a microphone?
Yes.
I'm not hearing you in my ears.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Hey. the victim mentality, or just that need to draw attention all the time, that negative attention, because they want to wallow in it, because they feel it's their safe place, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, it's where they're comfortable.
Exactly. Because maybe they grew up that way, only getting the negative energy or negative attention from their family or loved ones. And so now suddenly they don't, they, as an adult, they are still, addicted, I suppose you could say, to that negative attention. And that's all they know. They just want to wallow in it. And so even though they have the opportunity to
make
things better or have a more positive worldview, they reject it to wallow in the negativity. And man, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, it's their comfort zone. Like I said earlier, it's their comfort zone. That's where they're comfortable. That's all they know. It's like a I don't want to say a poor person's mentality, or a poor person's way of thinking. I'm broke, I'll always be broke, and that's the way it is. What did I call it earlier? We were talking about that. I think it was last night, or maybe it was earlier today. I can't remember, but it's still a victim mentality that they don't want to step outside of.
Well, for me, the analogy that fits this is that mentality is like your cousin that comes to stay the night, and your parents make you share a bed, and your cousin wets the bed, and you get stuck sleeping in the wet bed because the cousin is wetting the bed, but you don't want to get out of the bed because it's your bed, doggone it. And it's just frustrating. But so instead of getting up and taking a shower, getting cleaned up, putting fresh, clean clothes on, and maybe sleeping on the couch, you just stay in the bed because it's your bed, dang it. So, I don't know. I just, that's my mental visual of that negativity, because I don't want to be there. I don't know. I'd rather be in a happy, positive place where the sun shines and the wind chimes sing, and I can see the birds and the flowers and the mountains and all that stuff. So,
well, congratulations. Step outside the front door.
Pretty much. Hey, Lucky joined us.
Hey, Lucky, how are you?
Yes, you walked in on wetting the bed. So, that's too funny. So basically, don't wallow in the negativity. If you need help, ask for it. Either myself, someone local to you. You can get some therapy. Seriously, you'll be happier for it. But ethics, yes. You really should, even for basic energy work, if someone doesn't give you permission for it, no matter how good your intention is, you're not being as white as you think you are when it comes to white magic or black magic, that kind of thing. Because a lot of people figure, if I'm helping someone, it's good magic, it's white magic.
Yeah, no, because then you're forcing yourself on someone.
Exactly. So it kind of goes back to the, if you want to be, if you visualize yourself as a white magic practitioner of any particular tradition, but you are forcing your will upon someone else by insisting that you do this work for them, is it really, truly a white magic practice? What do you think?
Okay, it's always said, set your intention, make sure you know what your intent for it is. However, I always say, if it's unwanted intention, then it's not going to work. It's like I said last week when you were talking about negative energies. I just reject your negative energy. You're not going to affect me. It doesn't matter what you do to me. It's negative. So a person who doesn't actively want this interaction with you is going to reject it as negative energy. To me, it's not going to work. I just won't let it. My energy won't let it work. because it's unwanted intention.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, it doesn't work.
Okay.
But then you have to worry about blowback from that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the that would be an unintended consequence,
Uh-huh.
as Lucky just mentioned.
Just mentioned it, yep.
Yep. So yeah, if um, you know, that's why I talk about setting your intention prior, meditate on it. What are the consequences that you can think of for whatever it is you're doing? And for every one of those, there's going to be another one that you cannot imagine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, yes.
Lucky says, "True for you, Don," but and that's because that's the way I look at it. She says also though but there are ignorant ones out there that can be harmed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're absolutely right. If you're messing with someone who doesn't understand or isn't cognizant of what is going on, and they just say and Lucky, I think you missed it, but it's like somebody praying for me. It's not going to work, just send good intention, and if you're a friend of mine and I accept it, then it works. But for people who don't know how to protect themselves or reject the negative energy in the way I think of it, yeah, they could certainly be affected by it, whether it be positive or negative. That's just the way I think of it.
Okay. So, and yeah, it is kind of like praying for someone who doesn't really want to be prayed for.
Yeah.
Or like, what is the cult that goes through and baptizes people after they've died?
You just had to use that word.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know how.
No, I can't actually think of it. Is it the Mormons?
The LDS.
LDS, yeah. Latter-day Saints.
They say, don't worry about it. We'll baptize you after you're dead.
Yeah.
It's called works for the dead.
Yeah, I'm going to work there. Nope. Yeah, so, that kind of thing, that to me is unwanted intention and energy.
Exactly, yeah.
And no, I would definitely reject that. I'm sorry, if I'm happy in my afterworld and they came along and tried to drag me out of it,
right,
I would haunt their asses.
Lucky also added, right for you, Dawn, but there are others not as strong as you. Yes, there's a consideration too. They may not want that interaction, but they don't have the strength or the will or the knowledge to say, or not will, but the strength or the knowledge to be able to reject it in an offhand manner, as such as I would. So how would they protect themselves?
Well,
yeah, go for it. Well, what?
That's part of the reason why we wear crystals or stones or different things.
Okay, true,
you do
yeah.
cleansing rituals periodically. I know someone who does a cleansing ritual on herself daily, and often multiple times during the day, depending on what kind of a crowd she's had to be around. Just because in a cleansing ritual, honestly, guys, it's not like, all right, I'm going to go underneath the sky and I'm going to bathe in the moonlight or starlight or whatever, and I'm going to do this ritual or chant. Now, often you can keep it pretty basic and just wash your hands with soap and water. Kind of like keeping away the flu. Wash your hands.
Wash away your intent.
Yeah.
Wash away that intent.
And focus all that negativity or that energy or any of like that, into washing your hands. The soap's going to wash it away and let it run away down the drain. And then, energetic shielding, just like Brent says.
Yep.
If you can visualize a barrier of protection around you, that's a big deal. Or, this could be an instance where having a poppet of yourself is important. Because if you have a poppet at home on your altar that represents yourself and is in a safe and protected place,
right,
then that will help you in your
it's
protections.
Like your reset point.
Yeah, your reset point, or just helps you have another barrier against or for those situations where maybe you're sick and you're going to go into the hospital for surgery, just like me on Monday. And you're not able to, handle, your strength of mind maybe weakened due to illness. And if you've got that poppet of self already done and on your altar in a safe place with extra protections with it, that's a really good thing for you, to help you even when your strength of mind is weakened. So, yeah, reverse voodoo doll. Yeah, kind of. Although puppet magic can be just as scary as voodoo doll magic, Mr. Brent, especially if you're trying to trap an angry spirit in one. Which is where I think a lot of those haunted dolls come from. So, yes, Nessie, I have been dealing with some gallbladder issues for about 6 years, and I am finally, I'm so excited, going to have it out on Monday. By golly. Yeah, so Ruthie in TFR says she has to wash her feet every day after she goes outside and do errands where she gets drained. Or feels very drained along with other protections. Yeah, it's those daily rituals that we do. I mean, that's why so many people take a shower when they go home from work, or change their clothes. It's that I'm ending my day and whatever baggage that was. When I change my clothes, wash my hands, or take a shower, so you can, move on to the next thing or the next evening. There's other ways you can visualize that. There's a joke that went around, not necessarily a joke, but kind of an uplifting thing. This guy's having a really bad day at work and things are just going sideways. He's just had a really, really rough day, but the boss is coming home with him for dinner, and the boss is going to back out. And he's like, no, go ahead and come home for dinner. It's okay. We're already planning it. And when he gets home, before he goes inside, he stops and just places his hands on a tree that's near his front door. And he just stops and breathes for a little bit and lets that negativity out, and then he goes in and he has a good evening with his family, and dinner's awesome and everything else. And then as the boss is getting ready to leave, the employee walks him out, and he's like, you had the worst possible day ever at work, and you had just this fun evening with your family, and everything was just, I don't understand it. I didn't see anything from your day at work. And the employee basically pats the tree and says, every day when I come home, I hang my problems on the tree before I go inside, so my work problems don't come into the house with me. And I leave them there overnight, so when I go back to work in the next morning, I can pick them up. And I find often that over the course of the night, those problems fade away. And so the burden is a lot easier to pick up than the next day, or sometimes is gone completely. And if that's the ritual that you choose to do, then that's what you should do. It could be something as simple as a placard that you have at your front door, or maybe a doormat or something like that, or a tree. I mean, seriously. You could do any of that stuff. Whatever that ritual is to leave that negative energy at the door, do it. That way, you're not bringing it into your home and letting it influence your family.
Right, yeah. Yep.
So.
I understand that.
Because anybody who's ever had a boss has had a bad day at work.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you are your own boss. So, yeah. So, yes. I don't know. Any other thoughts are on energy? Like that?
No, not off the top of my head.
All right. Moving on. Moving on up. Is that what it is?
Moving on up.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, bad boss day. Yeah, there's always a bad boss day. If that means you have a dartboard and you throw darts at your boss. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Well, no. Maybe you could. Kind of depends on your boss and the way you handle stress.
Monitor your intention.
Yeah, monitor your intention. Yeah. Exactly. So, And Nessie, some of those dragon ladies are actually cream puffs on the inside. So you just need to, yeah, it was a quick half hour. Holy cow. Start talking about ethics and end up on energy.
I need to refill my
your cup.
My cuppeth runneth empty.
Your cuppeth runneth empty. You're silly. So, anyways, so since the call lines are not open because I fail, and we'll just leave it at that. It's the email is wildepaisley@gmail.com, wildepaisley@gmail.com. I've thought about setting up a Discord specifically for the show. Did you know that?
Yeah, you've mentioned it, and it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Although it's kind of fun seeing y'all on YouTube right now and TFR just chatting away. I don't know.
So, should I go get moon water or should I go get more of that plum wine?
Which will make you feel more blessed, Mr. Longbeard?
Right now, I think the plum wine.
All right, well, you go get your plum wine. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, I don't know, we'll come up with something else to talk about. I've got some articles.
You don't have any more?
Yeah, I've got all sorts of stuff, but
all
right,
whatever.
I'll figure it out. We'll see you in a bit.
colors of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea. I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, singeth unto me the songs of Mother Goddess and of Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and I am off adventuring into the spaces between. So, hello. And we are live on Truth Frequency Radio and YouTube World. Oh, yeah, happy Leap Day. Saw an article or a story earlier. A guy celebrated his 18th birthday along with his daughter, who was born on the 28th. So, isn't that crazy? Every 4 years. So whatever you happened to do today and posted about in social media will not show up again for another 4 years. Isn't that crazy? Just the random things in the back of my mind. I'm not going to say they make any sense because often they don't. They're all me. That's all there is to it. So, oh, thank you. Look at that. I have plum wine. Oh, that's really fizzy.
I figure, why should I be the only one?
Well, yeah. Seeing as how I made it.
Whatever. Anyhow, hi. Glad we're back. What were you talking about?
I just mentioned leap year.
Oh, leap year. Yeah, that's right, huh?
Yep.
This night will only happen in 4 more years.
Yes. 4 more years until we hear about the next election.
Did you hear about the hospital that dressed all the newborn babies today in frog costumes?
I think that's hilarious.
That's funny.
I did not hear about that until Bomber mentioned something. But that's funny as I'll get out.
Thanks, Bomber. Thanks for stealing my thunder.
I think it's awesome.
So, yeah, there it is.
Yep, there it is. So I don't know. Do you guys ever read The Wild Hunt? It's thewildhunt.org. It's Pagan News and Perspectives. It's just an online magazine, I guess, if you will. It's interesting. Oh, that's really good stuff. Sorry, distracted by the fizzies.
Anyhow, get back to the thing. Get back to what you were saying, because I'm interested.
Okay. Well, it's just an online publication that talks about paganism stuff. And so I was just like trying to find some sort of topic of interest.
Oh.
And so apparently, there's anybody else notice there's a rise in witchcraft related activity?
I wonder why.
I honestly, I think we're becoming woke, disenfranchised from Christianity,
disillusioned.
Disillusion. There's a lot of disses that we can apply to Christianity.
Just think of all the things that are happening with the Abrahamic religions, and then question how many pagan wars there have been in the last couple hundred years.
Well, I saw another church, another Catholic church is filing bankruptcy because of so many lawsuits for sex scandals.
Oh, no doubt, yeah.
And
definitely.
it's like, seriously? Everybody gets up all high and mighty and holier than thou art about pagans and how we're such lusty people and dance naked under the moonlight.
Wow, if that's the worst we do.
And I have to tell you, when's the last time we heard about a sex scandal?
Yeah, among the pagans. Yeah.
Involving pagans. I mean, seriously.
Sorry,
apparently you need to gargle with some of that wine. Goodness.
Well, yeah. That's, yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think I've ever heard of a sex scandal involving pagans. I mean, we have no problem just being loud and proud about it.
It's interesting, it seems to be part of that culture, though, in a lot of ways. Not all of the so-called religions or whatever you want to say, but in a lot of places, it seems to be part of what they do, and it's, as wrong as I consider it, and I know a lot of others also, but um, yeah, there's been a lot of awareness brought to it, to witchcraft or paganism or heathenry,
Mm-hmm.
as I see it,
Mm-hmm.
um, because of some of this stuff. I think that's part of the driving reason.
Excuse me. Well,
Oh, good point. Yeah. Many musings says thought rise in paganism could partially be due to NDE experiences and stories. So NDE is near death experiences. So
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and I think with a lot of the Abrahamic faiths, those things that are true for us as people are not allowed out. So we have to suppress those parts of us, whatever they are. And it's for some people, it's their spirituality. For others, it's their sexuality. I mean, it's the whole broad spectrum of things that you have to bury to be accepted.
Hmm.
And I think the rise of paganism and witchcraft and heathenry is in part due to we're not going to judge you based on that. We might judge you for, the wand or the broom or the that you might use, or maybe the crystals you wear, because people judge things, but or maybe you walk into a circle on the wrong compass point, but we're not going to judge you because you're a boy and you want to kiss a boy, or a girl and you want to kiss a girl. I mean, but so what? Seriously, so what, guys? Um,
Well, but to the point.
yeah, to the point. So um, I think we're seeking more freedom,
Hmm.
and Abrahamic faiths tend to not allow freedom,
Uh-huh.
and I think they're a lot more about control than they are about freedom.
Okay.
So, anyways,
Moving on.
moving on. What was the other thing I was thinking about talking about today? Ethics and so I am part of a couple different types of social media groups. Amino, Pagan, something or other that I think many musings have invited me to.
Hmm. Hmm.
That I was already a part of, whatever. It's some pagan thing. I don't remember what it's called. Anyways, I have to tell you, I like being parts of these groups because I like interacting with the people, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, Amino, etc., etc., etc. I really do. I like interacting with people and sharing ideas and thoughts, and just information, education, etc., etc. But the trolls must exist.
Mm.
I gotta tell you, the number of weird people who go into these groups seeking romance based on a lie or a fallacy really blows my gourd.
What they're not looking for heathenry, they're looking for hedonism. They're not looking for paganism, they're looking for hedonism.
Yeah, that's maybe that's it. I mean, I've got 2 chats that I haven't responded to because they're like, "Hi, you're pretty." It's like, and
Congratulations.
cool. Um, generally my response to that is, "Thanks. You're nice." and then they're like, "Oh, well, I'm from X. Where are you from?"
Not X.
I generally say the Pacific Northwest because, hey, you know what?
We're not in the Pacific Northwest.
But they don't know that.
That's true.
Often, these people couldn't find Idaho on a globe to save their life. They're like, Idaho? Is that next to Illinois?
It's one of those I states.
Right? You have corn there, right? And,
No, that'd be Iowa.
right? And and they're like, oh, well, it sounds like it's such a pretty place to be. It's like, yes.
Lucky.
Yeah, lucky, you're funny. And I just, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a pretty place here. It's like, so, and this is the one that kills me, because they all seem to follow a very similar pattern. Like, well, I'm a widower with a child.
Show me your Bob's and Vagine.
And I'm like, seriously? It's like, how many of you, how many widowers with children are going into these witch or pagan or heathen chat rooms seeking a connection, because you're trying to learn more about paganism and you need someone to help raise your your child. And seriously, if I was going to go seeking a step parent for Minnie Paisley,
Oh, God.
as I'm killing Don over there. Mute the mic. Are you done?
I turned the mic off. You can unmute it.
Are you choking on a thumbnail over there?
No, I'm just thumbnail. That was funny.
That was freaking
Never
hilarious.
mind. Anyhow,
I don't know that I would go to some random pagan group and randomly chat up someone on any social media group and say, hey, I'm a widower and I've got a child, and do you want to come raise my child? Like, seriously? Are you pimping out your kid? There's laws against that.
oh God.
And it just, I mean...
Well, we run back to ethics on that one.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if...
Maybe not ethics, maybe morals.
Morals? Yeah, morals are good here, yeah. Ethics, morals, both of those. I did tell Lucky about that.
Oh, God.
I thought she was gonna...
She said she fell out of her chair. That's not funny.
Okay, so thumbnail. Okay, making Don laugh. He's dying. Bless you. So, Julie, you're funny. Anyways, so I had some leftover chicken soup in the fridge and needed to do something with it, right? So it ended up turning into bacon chicken pot pie. It's freaking phenomenal. And anyway,
I'm going to share that, Lucky, just because I love you.
Anyways, so there's a group of us sitting around the table eating, right? And Don grabs the fingernail clipper, starts trimming his fingernails.
This is after dinner. My plate is empty.
His plate's empty, not necessarily everybody else's is, right? And anyways, so he calmly scrapes his plate with his fork and takes a big bite of fingernails, guys. So if you're vomiting, I'm sorry. He makes this weird face. Yes, at the table, bomber. and makes this weird face and gets up and runs to the sink and is spitting and rinsing his mouth out. And yes, it was disgusting and hilarious all at the same time.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And so apparently I am sick enough that I think it was just freaking hilarious. I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
Oh God.
And a friend of ours who's staying with us who gave me this awesome scarf that I'm wearing.
Literally threw up.
She threw up, yeah. And so yeah, it just and I can't blame her because ew. So
some stories aren't supposed to be shared.
Jim and I peed a little laughing. Seriously, cannot make this up.
Anyhow, moving on.
so
back to the show. Apparently
he's hacking up a thumbnail. He doesn't chew on his cuticles normally there, Naysay. I don't know what. Yeah, he drinks moon water and eats his own fingernails.
Gotta have something to wash it down with.
Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness. Okay. Anyhow.
So, anyways,
She digresses.
I digress. I had to share.
Oh God.
It was hilarious.
I knew that wasn't going to stay in the family here. You know, the near family. I knew that wasn't going to
no. Right, Lucky? Yeah, dying. Absolutely dying, yes.
I have to remember every time I'm around Paisley, there are no secrets.
No.
Oh, God.
I know. So, McMurphy has no power? I don't know. Rye, I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
No, keep going.
Okay. Anyways, so, yes. They say.
God damn it.
So, I've said on more than one occasion, practice safe internet. So we're going to go back to that. So, yes. You're welcome, Gemini. So when you're online in chat groups or just social media in general, practice safe internet, guys, because you really need to make sure that the information you're sharing about yourself online is exactly what you're okay with. Because if you're in the broom closet or pagan pantry or however you want to put it, and you share too much information, especially about where you're from or what you're doing or something like that. It's Nessie.
Yes.
The Chinese have them. I've saw them online. They come completely over the monitor and the workstation and everything.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Keeps you safe from computer viruses?
Not sure. Anyways.
Oh.
So, but yeah, you want to make sure that you're only sharing the information that you're okay with having out there in the world as for public consumption. So if
you do realize that what you just shared is going to get spread across thousands of people, right?
You bet your buttons it is. Because
Bomber's here.
Yeah, I really expected to show up on the portal at some point.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Safe interneting.
Yeah, safe internet.
I'm not safe anywhere.
No, you're not. Magnums.
They're good ice cream.
So
this is why you don't have Dawn on your show all the time.
No, I think it's good because occasionally we need to be a little more lighthearted. We were pretty serious yesterday, and ethics started off the show with ethics. That's pretty solid and dry and boring. So yeah,
your show is almost over.
I
only
know.
have like 7 minutes.
8. I have 8.
Great. So talk about something pertinent.
So yeah, floppy disk. So.
Naysay in his house. Sorry.
Okay. Hey, Julia, you can't call me. I don't have the call
phone
boards.
lines are dead.
Yeah, I got my call boards not set up. And
no, Lucky. It's just it was a fail on this end, not TFR. So thank you.
Yes. So you're gonna have to call in on Friday, Julia.
Next Friday.
Next Friday. So yes, safe internet. And remember, there's a lot of things out there that you can talk about as far as your path is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't out you as a witch or a pagan or a heathen. I mean, if someone, is trying to collect crystals or rocks or gems or whatever, you can be a rock hound. You can be a hobbyist. It's okay.
Mineralogist.
Yeah, you're just a hobby rock collector.
Hobbyist,
yeah, I mean. There is a vacation I would love to take that starts here in North Idaho and kind of winds around and dips into Montana and then down into the foot of Idaho and then a little bit into Utah where there's garnets and sapphires and opals and jade. And yeah, I think it'd be awesome. But, that's me just being me. I think it'd be great. So, but anyways, whatever it is, whether you maybe you're trying to gather feathers. You can tell someone, hey, I want to try making jewelry. And you gather a bunch of feathers, and someone says, I never saw that jewelry. It's like, well, that's because I suck at making jewelry. I gave it away or did something else. So, and, whatever it is that you're trying to collect or accumulate. I know people who can have jars all over the place. I do. I've got jars and bottles and miscellaneous pretty much everywhere. I've got more canning pots than I really want to talk about. So, there are ways to accumulate tools for your craft or for your altar that aren't necessarily saying, hey, I'm a witch and I need these things. So,
Many Musing says my cousin is a Christian, but teaches earth science to 8th graders. She loves rocks and stuff. Well, your cousin could be a closet Christian witch.
There is such a thing. So, yeah. I know, like, if you go hiking or on vacation,
whether it's acknowledged or unacknowledged, it's something that they just haven't realized.
Exactly. But you can pick up mementos. Like, I know, I took Minnie Paisley to Mount Hood, and we vacationed with family, and we picked up a rock and we brought it home. It's just a standard piece of granite, but I wrote Mount Hood on the back on one side with the date, and it's sitting on the mantle. It's just a rock. It actually has no special meaning to it other than it's like, hey, this is, from when we did this thing. And you can do that with feathers, stones, crystals, gems, shells, like snail shells, if you find them. I think Julia found some really awesome snail shells.
Yeah, she did.
Driftwood, statuettes, miscellaneous whatevers, It doesn't really matter. Coffee cups, bowls, the potentials are pretty much endless. And so don't be afraid to accumulate that stuff or debris, however you want to look at it.
Debris.
And you can say, hey, well, this is my collection of things that I picked up this summer out hiking, or last summer when I went out hiking. So, whatever it is, you don't have to say, hey, this is my altar. You can say, hey, this is my collection of stuff. We all know someone who has a collection of stuff. Shush.
This is my altar. This is my rock. This is for praying. This is for...
You're so weird. Have some more wine there, Mr. Don.
I've had enough.
So, yes. A walking staff, actually. I have two. One's in the corner over there. One's in the corner over here. One needs to be carved, and the other one needs to be left alone. So, yes. And but mostly for me they're walking staffs. But the one that I need to carve, it'll still be a walking staff, but it'll just be kind of carved into. So that's it. So
fancy and stuff.
It'll be fancy and stuff. And so if you see one that you like and you buy it, and someone says, hey, why'd you buy that? It's got like eagles and elks and stuff drawn on it.
Julie just quoted The Little Mermaid. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat?
Yes, it is very neat. Anyways, with all that stuff on the, carved into it, they say, oh, why'd you get that? It's like, well, I'm trying to support a local artist.
Yeah.
Any of the handcrafted tools that you might come across, I follow a gentleman by the name of Bowden on my Facebook page. He is a fantastic woodsmith. He creates the most incredible things with wood. And as far as I'm concerned, he's heathen. But he's very heathen.
Okay.
But he's also he's an artist. And I have no problem supporting an artist. So, and crystals, people have been hanging crystals in their windows to catch light and refract light. Yeah. Pretty much ever since crystals got hung on light, on strings. Fishing line. My mom had one hanging from her rearview mirror. So, it wasn't really she just thought it was pretty. And I annoyed the crap out of me because when I was drag racing, it hit the windshield. Mm-hmm. So.
Was that in the Daytona?
Yeah.
Oh, you suck.
So, yeah, it was a fun car to drive. So, anyways, practice safe internet. Pay attention to your intentions. Ethics.
Work within your ethics.
Work within your ethics. Yeah, and if someone asks you to do something that's going to violate your personal ethics...
Yeah, because it works both ways.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Ooh, I would love to have rocks from Oregon's, the seashore. I'm not allowed to go to the ocean. I'd probably never leave. And I hear housing's expensive over there. So, yeah. You know, if you feel your ethics are being compromised in any way, shape, or form, it means it's not something you need to do. So on that note, yes, don't eat your fingernails. That's it for the night. You guys have a very good weekend. Enjoy your leap year.
Sorry I ruined the show.
You did not ruin the show. That was hilarious. And we will see you next week on Friday at 9 after Paranormal Portal. And was Duke on next?
Yes, Duke is on next. TFR.
TFR, rocking the Duke. So, merry meet and merry part and merry meet again.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.